Hi, my name is Jonathan Russellinelli. I'm a soil scientist at Cornell University, and I'd like to talk a little bit about soil color. I'm going to talk about it in two things. One is I'm going to talk just very briefly about why color is important, and then two, most of what we're going to be talking about today is actually how we quantify color. How do we standardize it so that we can communicate color across the planet? And let's start with just sort of soil colors. Here you see a spectrum of soils and some petri dishes here, from sort of a yellowish white all the way to a red color. And all those different colors give soil scientists and people that use soil all different kinds of information about what might be going on with the soil. But more importantly, we want to be able to quantify what those colors are. Now you can certainly say, look at this petri dish over here and say, yeah, that's red. And if I told you it's red, but there's a lot of different kinds of reds that are out there, and we want to be able to actually say what kind of red it is. And to do that, what we do is we use what are called Munsell color books, or standard color books. And there's a whole variety of these are different editions. But let me introduce you to the book for a little bit, the Munsell book. The Munsell book is basically a series of pages with individual colors on them. The colors, the pages themselves have little codes on them. Like here is a 75R page. The R stands for red. Here is a 5Y page. The Y stands for R. The book is set up so that it goes from reds all the way through the reds, through a mixture of reds and yellows, all the way to basically yellow pages, okay? So what we do is we use these color chips, these little color chips, and you can notice that there's a little hole here. We use these color chips to standardize our colors. Now, one thing that you should think about here is that soils, when they're in the field, sometimes they're dry, sometimes they're wet. Now all of these soils that you see right here, these are all dry soils. But I want to show you something. If I spray one of these, just take a look at this and see how it changes color just by the moisture content. Now, we can't control the moisture content in the real world, but what we can do is we can standardize on our moisture. And so when we do our color books, we want the soil to be moist, not totally saturated, but moist. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this soil right here. Here's a little clod of soil, okay? And then what I'm going to do, first thing is I'm just going to moisten it up. You saw how it changed colors dramatically there. And I'm going to look at this color, and I'm going to say, okay, where would it be in these Munsell chip colors? So look at this page, probably not on this page. Move a little bit more towards the yellow. It's starting to get a little bit dry, so I squirt it again. Okay, hold up again. Maybe, let's go a little bit more yellow and see. Maybe something on this page sort of in here. What you do then is hold up your book, put your moist spot right underneath it, and maybe sort of right there. So if we wanted to standardize this color, I put it on the 10YR page right here, okay? And then I look at the value, which is on this axis right here. It goes from 2 to 8, so probably sitting someplace around 5. And then on the chroma, 1 to 8, and probably there, it's probably on a 2. So I'm imagining that this might be something right around in there. Now let's get a little wet again, just to make sure we're on the right chip. Put it underneath there. Might actually be a little bit farther over, right about there. I think this is a 5.3, a 10YR 5.3. And that's basically how we standardize these soil colors. Now I've got two other soils here that I want to show you how we would do them, just as more as examples. So here's a darker soil. Moisten that up. See how dark that got very quickly? Let's start on the same page that we're on at the moment. It's a 10YR. But in this case, let's move it farther down. It's pretty dark. It's probably enrichment of organic matter. So maybe on this one it would be a 10YR 2.2, maybe a 2.1. Though we also might check one page over just in case. And in that case, it looks a little bit more browner here, I think. I'd actually go with this one, a 7.5YR 2.52. Now the last one we have, this is a color that's somewhat in the middle. Probably going to end up in a 7.5YR. color. It's got some oranges in there. Maybe a little redder. So let's go to 10 YR. Or more yellow, I meant to say. I know, anybody feel good about that? How about a, maybe there. I think I'd go with a 10 YR 5.6. Now don't worry if you're wrong, because there isn't really any wrong on this. This is really sort of get in the ballpark of color. We're looking at for the ranges of that color. But that in itself is sort of the simple and easy way to quantify color and sort of the soil scientist way. Thank you.